Hello. First things first, I have a new microphone. I tested it out. I have not yet. I am gonna turn the volume down just a tad. Just a little bit. So I haven't gotten to go through all the settings, but this is just it plugged in with the basic settings. It already sounds better than my other one. So hopefully that's good. I'm gonna be spending tomorrow rewiring a whole bunch of stuff and setting this up better and then doing all the settings for the microphone more detailed to my voice. But I am really happy with the new microphone, so I don't have any of the filters on at the moment, so it might be you hear a lot more little sounds and stuff, so I apologize for that. But I will fix that by next week. Hopefully I'll have everything set up more professionally. Anyway, for today we are going to paint our creeper. I got him with a base coat of brown right now. But we're going to go ahead and start dry brushing a light green. Actually, no, let's dry brush a light brown first. We'll start with that, and then we'll do a light green, and then we'll start painting the leaves. And I apologize, my voice is a little raspy today. I got up not too long ago, and I still haven't lost the early morning raspiness that I get, so. But yeah, we're just going to do a quick dry brushing of a little brown around the wooden parts of the creeper. And then we're going to go over it with a little bit of a green because we do need to get that greenish tint everywhere. Now the predominant green is going to be on the leaves, but I do still, because the creeper is like completely green, I do still want to make sure I keep at least a green tinge even on the wood parts. And starting hopefully this week, I will be setting up the sub channel that I think I mentioned it the last two times, where I will be doing audiobook stuff because I've had a couple people say they like to listen to me read stuff. So I like to read stuff and I enjoy being read to. So I'm going to share some of my own work and a bunch of public domain stuff that I like to read. We'll see. I don't know how far it'll go, but I'll do that on the side probably occasionally. I have some that I want to, a couple books and short stories in mind already. So, but yeah, it's all going to be public domain stuff and maybe a little bit of my own writing occasionally. But it should be fun. We're just adding highlights here and there. But yeah, I thought I was going to have to not do tonight, but I had so many technical issues the other day. Both of my monitors went black and wouldn't show up. Then the new microphone was having issues. I spent working on that. Turned out it was just the way I had it set up that was the problem. But yeah, I had so many issues, and there's so many wires. My computer's like halfway pulled out still, and so I have some new wires because I think the monitor HDMI cables are dying. So I'm going to replace those, and I'm going to try to have better cable management when I rehook everything up. So I ordered some stuff that'll be here tomorrow, and hopefully I'll have a much better, cleaner setup that I can access a little easier in case those wires decide to give out again. Yeah, normally I have settings so that the brush sounds aren't loud, but I don't know, some people might like that. I'm not sure. Okay, just add a little extra color to the vines and the wood. And I do still have our little acorn from the last time. It's just chilling over here in a little thing so I don't lose it. because we're going to put a little bit of fire on the acorn, because I like the idea, since I know the person who was hanging out with me last time mentioned the certain plants having exploding seed pods, and I was like, that's a cool idea. So we have exploding acorns. That's what I think I'm gonna do for that. So I'll light a little fire so it's got like a little bomb acorn inside its little stomach. Eh. There we go. Now this particular brown you probably can't see too well on the camera is a difference from the one that's already on the piece, but it has a little bit more of a red tone to it. That's probably the other thing. If I upgrade anything else, it'll probably be the camera. I think it may have more to do with my lighting than it does with the camera, but I'm not sure. Because I've been annoyed that some of the colors don't show up as well on the video as they do in real life. So I may do some research. It's a decent camera though. It's not like a high-end one, but it's decent. So we'll see. If I upgrade anything else, it'll be that. But it won't be for a while because I have spent all of the extra money I am allowed to spend for quite some time, and then I had some unexpected bills on top of that, so we will have to hold off for a bit on that. It's a good camera, but it's just can't always see the coloration very well. And we'll turn the light like that. That works. And I do have upcoming video with the cat feeder that I made. I posted an image of it, but I will have a edited video soon, and then I have to still got to figure out how to anchor it to my wall. But as soon as I figure that out, I'll have a video showing it off and how I made it. Made it out of PVC pipe. It was a lot of fun. Okay, so we've gotten this sort of reddish brown lightly brushed all over. Now let's take a little bit of green. And I'm not going to clean the brush. I'm going to leave the green with the brown on the brush so that it mixes with the green a little bit. Because I want to give the underside of this just that hint of like a off brownish green. And then of course the leaves will be very bright. And then we'll have to do the light brown for the top and bottom here of the log type design. I also discovered that I can probably leave my AC on because the fan is super loud. And I couldn't do that with my other microphone, but I got scared because I haven't done the settings yet. So I turned it off for today, but hopefully next time I can actually leave that on. That will be so nice. Because this mic does actually filter sounds pretty well. So I am excited about that. Because then I will be able to be comfortable in my room while I do this. Which will be very nice. Okay, you can kind of see we're getting a very light greenish brown. That's going to be the color of the all of the log section. I'm going to leave it that kind of tone. Let me change something here real quick. I always forget to change the settings on the chat thing. Okay, good. I think moderation was giving me some issues. I may turn that off. I like having it because I'm not really paying attention very well to it. And occasionally people pop in and say something and then I'm not paying attention. But I think it's clipped a few messages here and there and I'm like, maybe auto things like that aren't very good at reading context. Okay. Thinking. Okay. And tilt it down like this. Okay. Let's keep dry brushing this green. We're almost done with this green. We'll move to the next color in a second. Well, actually, we'll just start painting the leaves more darkly. We'll gotta go over this lovely little spiderish face I gave it. I really like this idea. I know it was totally just something I made up, but I rather like it. They remind me so much of like creepy spiders and bugs. I don't know why. I think it's because they sneak up on you. And spiders are notoriously quiet. I'm always really weirded out by the fact that in video games, fantasy video games, spiders make so much noise. Like they chitter and make noise. I'm not even sure that big spiders make noise. I don't think I've ever heard, even like videos of tarantulas, I don't think they make noise. So I'm always so weirded out when games have them making all these noises and it's like, do they really do that? Oop, looks like, oh, tip of this broke off. That's okay. We can always glue that back on. That won't be a big deal. I can fix that. I just gotta figure out how it fit. But yeah, that's okay. We can also just paint over it and just leave it as is. That's totally fine. I'll put this to the side so if I need to, I can glue it back on. It's just the little tip on the end of this snapped, but that's fine. This is a rather fragile piece, unfortunately. I tried to reinforce it the way that I built it, but you know, not much you can do sometimes. This type of clay is a little fragile. I should get in the habit of mixing it with some of the flexi type clays because those tend to have more durability because they aren't brittle. But those clays are expensive, so I don't have the funds to do that. Not consistently, anyway. All right. Got our slight green haze all over this. I'm gonna have to look that up later because I genuinely think spiders don't make any noise. I feel like that's just another fantasy game logic thing. Okay. Actually, let's go ahead and do the light brown top, and then we'll move to doing the green all over the leaves. Oh. And we can also kind of dry brush a little bit of texture with this lighter brown color, or beige color technically, I guess. It's a little more brown than, it's almost my skin tone, but it's a little more brown. Okay, let's use the other one. I think it's not dried out. Yeah. Yeah, this one's a little more peachy, skin toned-ish, kind of. It's also darker than me, though. Not quite. It's not quite a beige. It's kind of in between. Alright, let's do some quick dry brushing just to bring out the texture. Just a little bit. Kind of see he's taking shape here. Okay. And I do think I'm going to leave the tips of the feet a little bit more brown because the texture is darker there. It looks almost like he has toes. So I might darken the tips of these as well, other than the one I just broke off by mistake. Okay. We're just lightly dry brushing this light brown to bring out the texture. Do a little bit on the face here, the lower face. Yeah, I looked up the name of this. It's usually called false eyes, or there's another word for it that I can't think of at the moment. Whenever animals and insects have fake facial details that are meant to distract from the actual creature or to scare off other creatures. So that's kind of what I figured was going on with our little creeper here. Okay, so we're going to start painting over the leaves more heavily. And this is the part that I'm going to have less fun with because it's so many leaves. There we go. So we'll start with this dark green and then we'll work our way to a lighter color. All right, so you can kind of see where we're going with this. I am happy with the design. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it or not. So I was really questioning. Whenever I start something, I'm always questioning whether or not I can really pull it off and do it well. But I think I do genuinely like this. I think it's pretty cool. This is kind of, how I imagined them. So I am very happy with this. I think this is going to turn out great. That's the thing artwork has just taught me, is to be very patient with things, because I tend to want things to be, I've said it before, but I always want stuff to be amazing immediately, and it never is. It takes time. It always looks kind of bad initially, and then I'm always going, can I really do this? Is this really going to work? Or is it going to look weird? And it may not be perfect, but I can usually get it decent, with a little bit of patience. I am planning out some tutorial videos as well. I have a very simple dragon design that I used to do early on when I was younger that I'm going to see if I can edit a little bit. I have to kind of plan out how I want to do that, because that's going to require a lot of video editing. But I hope to do some fun little sculpting tutorials very soon as well. We'll see what I get to first, because I still have to edit the one video, the cat feeder video. I have to start recording my audio books for the sub channel that I'm going to start. Got most of the artwork done for that already, the thumbnails, but I have to do the actual recording work still, and that's going to take some time. I'm not going to be too professional about it because I don't really know how, but I will at least do my best to make it sound pleasant to listen to, because that would defeat the purpose of an audiobook if it wasn't. And like I said, it will sound better than it does right now, because I didn't change any settings with this mic. I just plugged it in, because I was having some issues with the editing program that this mic works with. And I figured out what it was. I just haven't troubleshooted the thing yet. It comes with an application. It's called Motive Mixer. And apparently Windows settings interferes with it. And I was like, why is it screeching at me? Why does it sound terrible? But apparently I have to go and manually turn off all the Windows audio settings to let it take control. So once I figure that out, I will edit it. It'll sound even better. And I'll probably get rid of all these little sounds, little background sounds and stuff. And then once I get that settled, we'll start the audiobooks, and then I'll start doing like the tutorials and things too. But it's like, if I have the capability to make it better, I want to make sure I get all of that squared away before I start doing more. Oh, and I absolutely have to do the next part of our unfinished fairy tale this week. There's one more question left. And that is because only one person commented on the last thing, so we're doing a giant spider. The only question left is going to be what she is trading to our little mole in that story, in that scene. So I know I left it alone for like 2 weeks, so I want to pull that back up and see if we can finish it. Hopefully it will catch on. I like the idea a lot of letting people comment and help me tell a story, because then they get, input on what I'm sculpting. But we'll see. It did okay initially, and then the last couple of videos didn't do that great. So I have to work on that. Okay. Okay. We got a few more leaves, then we'll go back over with our brighter green. Okay. Okay. A few more leaves. And I think there's one. Oh, yep. One more big one right here on this leg. Okay. All right. We're going to get a clean brush. Is this what we have so far? We're going to get a clean brush and start doing the lighter green. I like that I got all these brushes out here next to me and then I immediately reach for the stuff over here. Actually, well, I kind of need an in-between brush. Do I have one? Kind of that. I need more varied brush sizes. Actually, no, let's use a bigger brush. I'll use my lazy dry brushing technique because it works, you know? It works so well. This has to be careful that we don't hit the body at all. I do want to put a little more green on the face. Okay. All right. Perfect. There we go. You can see the texture that we're accomplishing now on the leaves. There we go. Oops, sorry. That was probably very loud. I guess I could do little patches of green too because it might be like moss covered a little bit on the wooden parts. All right. That is the one lovely thing about dry brushing, is it's an incredibly easy way to add detail. You just have to make sure you spent the time making the proper texture when you did the sculpture. And then it highlights all the details without too much effort, too much difficulty. Because like I could paint this more detailed piece by piece, but it tends to create the exact same effect that this does. And this is considerably faster and easier and looks about the same. A lot of times I'll dry brush and then I'll go back over and do the darker spaces again, just to make sure we don't lose them. And I might do that with this. This is actually going much faster than I anticipated. I was thinking it was going to be a nightmare to paint, but it's actually, the dry brushing is actually doing quite a good job, so I'm not going to have to touch it up that much, which is good. Okay. Okay, so this is what we have so far. He's looking very good. Okay, so now we're going to take a little bit of yellow, and with this we're going to go even lighter. Just barely touching the, barely touching it. Oops, because that's a little too much. I think we're just going to go for the edges. That'll kind of outline it a little bit. Just very lightly dry brush the edges of each of the leaves with a little bit of yellow. And the yellow I definitely don't want to get on the wooden parts of the figurine. Okay. You can see that's giving more texture and detail to the leaves. Just very lightly on the edges. Only touch the edges. Yeah, I'm not sure how long the tutorial pieces are gonna be. I'll try to keep them short, and I'll try to make it really, like, not use tools and make everything fairly cheap and accessible, because I prefer art things that do that. I'm not a fan of spending a ton of money for supplies that you can usually just MacGyver. So I'll probably just use, I probably won't use any of my sculpting tools, or if I do, I'll just use minimal or potentially, you know, toothpicks and the end of paintbrushes and pencils, because those often work just as well. That way all you'd need to follow one would be the clay and paint, and I buy very cheap paint. So, like, it's the type of paint you can get for like 50 cents a bottle at the dollar store. Someday I might get myself fancier paints because it does make a difference. The only expensive paint I will buy is reds and whites because for some reason they both like to dry out and the reds are really hard to find a legitimate red. So many red pigments are very pink. Sorry. I have that problem too with the mica powders that I get for resin work. It is so hard to find a legitimate red. I don't know if it's just a hard color to create, but half the things that I have gotten that were labeled red were definitely not red. They were pink. And I am not a fan of pink. So I don't hate it, but it's an accent color. I don't like it as a main thing. Okay. We'll add the yellow to the leaf right there. All right. Just a few more around the legs and back. And we can kind of yellow them a little more around the edge here, more brightly to kind of highlight this little cavity that we're going to put our okay. I know I just said I wasn't going to put any of the yellow on the, but I am. I didn't think it would look right, but if it's barely any on my brush, so it'll be fine. It actually looks fine. Okay. All right, you can see that, the detail that we have there. I think that looks pretty good. Here's the back. All right. Now I am going to need to clean off. Oh, I'm so stupid. I just broke another one. It's fine. I can glue them back on. It'll be okay. Okay. All right. So we're going to darken the tips of the feet a little bit. Now, these two pieces I accidentally broke off. That's okay. I'm going to glue those back on later, but I don't really want to have to run downstairs at the moment, so you will have to imagine them being glued back on for the time being. I will, before I do the finished video, I will put them back on. Okay, so we're gonna do just like that. Just so you can see it's a little darker. But yeah, the wire didn't quite go out to the end, so that made it a little weaker. And it's just because I kept leaning on it like that. That's my own dumbness. I tend to forget how fragile some of these things are. It's one of the reasons I don't typically put the figurines on the shop, because I am terrified that they would just break in shipment. But, oh well. Keep both of these. We will deal with those later. Glue them back on. All right, now let's get our little acorn. I need a small brush and our reddish brown. Oh, here's the color I want. This color. You can kind of see our teeny tiny little acorn. Actually, I will have to glue it back on because this guy's going to have to be glued inside. So that will be on video. It'll just take me a moment. Sometimes I also just like adding little bits of other colors, especially with browns when it comes to trees and stuff and wood-like things. Because it just gives it more depth. When you look at an actual photograph and you like go up to the pixels, it's sometimes surprising how many different colors are in one little space. And also by adding the tiniest bit of brown here and there, it kind of highlights the other greens a little more. Okay. Okay. Now let's darken the top of the acorn a little bit more. And then we're going to have to start the flame. Here in a second. See our very teeny tiny little acorn that you can right there. It's little. Okay. I'm gonna put him right there. Don't roll away, please. And we are going to put a little tiny bit of this. And where did I put, oh, my orange coloring. This is way too much for this, but we'll make it work. A little bit of that into there. Actually, let's see if we can cure it a little bit on the edge here, and then we can attach it to the acorn. Sorry, I have my glow resin in here still that I didn't pull out. Okay. Let's take our little acorn. Trying to peel a little bit of this halfway cured stuff up so we can make a flame. Sorry, I can't really show this on the camera very well. Come on. Here, we'll do this. Yeah, I may have to engage some regular paint to get the effect that I want. I apologize, this light really screws with the camera. Hold on. I can pull it and get a little bit of a flame effect here. Working with resin while it cures is not an art I have perfected. I've done a couple things where I've gotten pretty good flame textures before, but it is a bit of a challenge. There you go, you can see a little bit of it. All right. Okay, so I am gonna take a little bit of orange and just touch it onto the piece. I should have used a little more color. It's just it's such a small piece of resin. There we go. If I paint the back of it and not the front, it kind of highlights it pretty well. Yeah. There we go. And then we'll grab the brown again to touch up the spots that got resined and look shiny now on the top of the acorn, because we don't want that. I don't know that resined is a word, but we'll go with it. Something like that. Okay. So I'm going to run downstairs and grab the super glue. I will be right back. Just be like a minute or two. Okay. Sorry about that. I am back. There we go. All right. So first things first, we're going to put the feet back on. I think this one is not that one. Oh, there we go. It goes like that. I'm going to have to stick this down on the plastic piece and not on this because I don't want to ruin my new mat that I just got. Tiny little bit of glue. I'm not sure how this one fit on there. It might be. Missing a piece, maybe? Oh, no, that's probably how it fit. Yeah, it's just missing a little piece of clay. That's fine. We can reinforce that a bit if we need to. Let that sit for a second here. But, yeah, we're looking pretty good. All right. Do I have tweezers? I do not. Okay, so we glued the two back ones on. We're going to lay him down like this, and I'm going to run away and grab tweezers real fast. Since I forgot. Okay, I have tweezers. Thankfully, they were just in the other room. Okay. All right. So we are gonna... I need to put this down on something. I can't put the feet with this super glue down on this mat. We'll use this upside down. That'll work. Just put it here for a second. And then we will take the tiniest drop of glue on the base of this. Like that. And just put it right in there. There you go. So you can see the little flaming acorn inside its stomach. And then the eyes. I'm pretty happy with this. I think it turned out pretty good. But yeah, so I think, oh wow, that didn't even take me a full hour. I was expecting this to be such a pain to paint, and it really wasn't. But I was thinking I might have to paint stuff individually, but the dry brushing worked quite well, so I'm impressed actually. I didn't think it would, but it did. All right, so I think we are done for today. If you watched this video, I appreciate it. If there's other stuff you'd like to see me sculpt, please feel free to comment. I do take suggestions. I do pay attention to them. As long as it's something I recognize, or at least find interesting, I'll do it. But yeah, hopefully this was enjoyable, and I will be back next week. I'm not sure what I'm doing next week. I will figure that out. But I have a lot of other fun stuff planned, hopefully in the interim, and I'll have some other videos posting more often as I have a lot of different projects I want to do. I'm also going to be doing some fun little videos because I love to yap about logical fallacies. So I'm going to be doing sculptures that represent various logical fallacies, and then I get an excuse to talk about them in videos. Now, I'm not going to do that live, but I will do those separately, and then I'll have other stuff like the stray cat feeder that I did and some other house projects that I'm working on. But yeah, hopefully I'll be back next week with something else, either folklore, mythology. I might do the SCP, the Undying Lizard. That's been on my list for a while. But something like that will be up soon. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely night or morning whenever you see this. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you soon.